Well, on today's show, we have two-time guests now, Jordan St. Cyr. Jordan, thanks so much for chatting with me.
Man, it is my pleasure. Love it. Thank you for
Yeah,
having
it's
me.
been a while. It's been a few years. Lots happened since then. Just update us on what's been going on in the last couple of years.
Man, what hasn't been going on? Jeez. Let's see. I mean, we moved from Canada to the U.S. I'm not sure if we covered that. We've
Yes.
been living here just over 2.5 years. We had okay, I'll tell this awesome story. I haven't had the opportunity to share this yet. But we were renting, and it was like housing prices were at all-time high, and we were living in Canada. We found this house, and we had to get it sight unseen, and we just moved, and we landed, and this house put us in tears. It was like everything we could have hoped for a house. It had a guest room for, when my mom would come over or any, traveling musicians that wanted to stay. So 2 years go by, and we're like, man, I really feel we're supposed to stay here. My wife agrees, like this block, this community, the high school's in our backyard, the middle school's across the street, like everything is right here. And, so we write the landlord this beautiful, note, just asking, hey, we love your house. It's just been such a blessing, a godsend to us. Is there any way that we could buy this off you? And it was just this eloquent letter, and they wrote this letter back. It was beautiful, super nice, just saying, no, no, we're going to be moving back. And man, it was a gut punch. We were like, man, it just felt like we were supposed to stay in this community. So our neighbor right next to us, a neighbor that we had been developing a relationship with, just loving on, he's the realtor for the entire neighborhood. And 3 houses down from us, they built a brand new house, and it is the exact same house that we currently live in.
Wow.
Same floor plan, same everything. And our lease came up on the rental January 31st or February 1st, and we got possession January 31st.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So the kids stay in the same schools, get to hang out with the same neighbors. It was just such a God thing. And so
That's cool.
we've been in the new house about, I guess it's going on 4 months now. And so
Wow.
we're just,
That is awesome.
yeah,
That's so
man.
cool. Well, you have a brand new album coming out just a few days after my birthday on June the
Come
14th.
on.
My Foundation. Tell our viewers and our listeners about this brand new album.
Yeah. Well, other than a belated birthday present,
Yeah.
it's really just, man, it's a statement of faith. It's a celebration, really, having walked out of so much trial and the health challenges of my little girl, pursuing this dream in music, to moving from Canada to the U.S., navigating a healthcare system that we didn't know, and little be known to us, a lot of Americans don't know either. It's just,
Yeah.
it's a lot, and we finally feel we have, just our feet under us. And really, what the album is about is just celebrating the foundation that's always been under us. For me and my wife, we've known Jesus our entire lives. Our parents did an amazing job of just raising us in the faith. Really, those times, those hard times, as you walk through them, those are actually times of harvest, right? The seeds begin to sprout, and they begin to carry you, and that's actually the harvest time of your faith. And you call in your favor with God, and He's like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still the same God before the fire and after. And so this album is just celebrating that foundation that is unshakable, no matter what comes our way. And so it's something we were made for. And when we build our house on the sand and we wonder why God, it's like we weren't made for that. We were made for the firm foundation of Jesus.
Wow. Yeah, your song on there, Rescue, we really love that song. And in fact, when we were at the K-Love Awards this past weekend, we unfortunately we didn't get a chance to talk with you like on the red carpet and things like
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
but we had a lot of people reach out and was like, man, if you get to talk to Jordan, just tell him how much this song means to us and things like that. And so, do you mind talking about that song for a moment?
Yeah. So this is the song that started it all. It was inspired by a season that my wife has affectionately named our 2 weeks from HE double hockey sticks. It's really just whatever could happen happened. So our youngest Emery was in for an eye exam. She's in for routine eye exams, and the doctor informed my wife that she's going to need this invasive eye surgery. And that
Mm,
kind of took the wind out of our sails. You know, she was 1.5 at the time. And I'm like, oh man, okay, our little girl's gonna have to endure much at such a young age.
mm,
On her way home from the hospital visit, the car broke down. And so she lets me know in tears, hey, this is gonna take a bit. She found a mechanic close by. They got it fixed up in about 3-4 hours. They came home. I was jumping on the trampoline with my oldest daughter, and she broke her leg. And so we were waiting for Heather to get home with Emery so that Willa and I could head out and get a cast on her leg. A couple days later, my record label, at the time we were about to release Fires, like just on the cusp, and they actually folded. They weren't going to be a record label anymore, so I got dropped. And man, like I had been grinding for years, and this
yeah.
was devastating. And I thought we were finally about to do something, and then the rug just gets swept out from under us. 3 days after that, Emery's back in the hospital with seizure activity, and it took a few days to balance out her medication, get her back to her baseline, and they finally released us. We were so grateful to head home, and that same car broke down again. And my wife is in the middle seat trying to comfort, Emery. She's having like a mild panic attack, right? She's getting tingles up the arm. Her heart is beating real fast, and she just has this moment where she says, "Today, Satan." Like she declares this. And if you know a bit of our past, my wife grew up in a very conservative Lutheran church, right? So for her to say this is pretty impressive, right? She must be at her edge. I grew up in a charismatic Pentecostal church where if the toaster's broken, you lay hands on it,
Right,
right?
right.
Like, so this was, okay, this is my wife being a light in my life saying there's more going on here, right? We're being, taunted, tempted, all the things. My sister-in-law picks us up from the car breaking down, brings us home, orders us pizza. Dude, this was the best pizza I've tasted in my life. After 3 days of hospital food,
Right.
a broken down car, and 2 hours later, all of us, every one of our 6-person family had food poisoning. Like, it just was insane. And the final nail in the coffin was my oldest son, who decided to sleep it off in the living room couch. He had a fever-induced delirium. I had no idea what this was, but he basically sat up, turned, faced us, and he was completely asleep, but his eyes were open, but kind of like dozy. And then he smiled, and he started chuckling at us. And it was like a scene out of Batman where the Joker starts laughing. Like, it was dark. And I just look at my wife, and I'm like, is that the devil? Like, is that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this was dark. And he just rolled over, went back to sleep, and I Googled everything, and I'm like, oh, this is just like a fever response and all this.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. But that was kind of it. But that all happened in a 2-week period where, our family, our faith, and our dreams were all, just darts were being thrown at all of them. Everything that I held dear, everything that was like a priority to me as a husband and father, just started unraveling. And I felt desperate, and I felt helpless. However, I never felt alone. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like I
yeah.
never felt like I had to take this all on myself. And that's kind of it. Like that was my proving ground for the faithfulness of God. Rescue was not God saying, I'm going to pull you out of your circumstance, rather than I'm going to show you my presence in a way um, where circumstance will not be a determiner of whether I'm good or not. Rather, it will continue to prove over and over again that I am faithful and I'm good. And so, yeah,
Yeah, I've always been told never to Google anything like symptoms and stuff because
right.
Google always like hyphens everything, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm dying.
When my daughter was born, she came out of the womb, and the nurse is like, oh, that looks like some bruising. I'm looking at my wife. No, it's not. The doctor comes in and says, don't Google it. And it was, what's the first thing you do? You Google it. And so if you got the strength, man, yeah, don't
Yeah,
Google it.
yeah,
Don't do it.
yeah. Well, as you know, Jordan, or you may know, this is a fan based podcast. And so we had a fan of yours write in, Michelle from Rockford, Illinois. And she wants to know it's a throwback song behind your song In My Lifetime.
Wow. That is amazing. So this song allowed me into the U.S. really. This song I wrote for my small town. It won a bunch of awards, and that allowed me to prove to the U.S. immigration that I'm going to be a positive in the U.S. and not a negative. And so that song has just made a way. God uses to make a way. The story behind that song really was me growing up in my small local church. And that local church, like I said, was very charismatic, very Pentecostal vibes. And they taught me about the big things of God. And this song was a reminder to my soul to not forget that God is the God of miracles. God is the God of revival. And these are things that I want to see in my lifetime. Like I want to see the hand of God move. And and to not allow the things of this world to thwart that belief. And so really that's what In My Lifetime is all about. It was really a prayer birthed from my hometown for my hometown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, Jordan, the first time we had you on, we were pretty new, and so we didn't do this at the time. We'd like to, our listeners really like this, and viewers like this segment we do called Favorite Things. And so I'm just going to
Okay.
give you a word, and you just give me your favorite thing in that category.
Let's
Uh,
do it.
the first one, what is your favorite food?
Tacos. Tacos, tacos,
Taco.
tacos.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Man, I love movies. Let's go with The Shawshank Redemption. That's got to be
Oh,
top three for me. Yeah.
that's a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a show that you like to watch?
Man, there's many shows. Let's go with The Office. I
There you
love
go.
me a good Michael Scott.
Oh yeah. Do you have a favorite artist, musical artist of all time?
Favorite music? My goodness, that's impossible. That's impossible. Growing up, it was Jars of Clay. Jars of
Yeah,
Clay was just so instrumental in um, just my musical preference, but also like my faith journey, like kind of solidifying just worship in everything we do. And they
sure.
did it in such a singer-songwriter artsy way that just
Hmm.
I could see my way forward through that. So let's go Jars of Clay.
Yeah. What about? Is there someone that you would love to sing with, like a dream duet?
Man, I mean, Lauren Daigle is probably
Okay.
right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with Lauren.
All right.
She's unreal. Got to see her at the Caleb Fan Awards, and she's just
Yeah.
her voice is incredible.
Yeah. What about a favorite ice cream flavor?
Ooh, favorite ice cream. I love the kind of ice cream that has everything in it in the kitchen sink kind of thing, like
Yeah.
your peanut butter cups, nuts, chocolate chunks, the whole deal.
You like all the good
Love it.
stuff in it.
All the good stuff, man. Come on.
Is there a favorite podcast that you listen to?
Favorite honestly, I listen to the Tim Keller podcast a lot.
Yeah.
He's just been such an impactful speaker in my life, pastor, figure, and I just love the way um, he speaks to the non-believer uncompromisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Well, Jordan, besides your album coming out, My Foundation, what else do you got going on this year, and how can our viewers and listeners keep up with you?
Yeah. Going to be doing a lot of festivals throughout the summer. I'm hitting the road with Jason Gray. Let's see, in September, just for a handful of dates. And then in October, we're kicking off the My Foundation tour. And we haven't made the announce yet, so y'all are like the first to hear about this, but more details soon on Instagram and my website. So the My Foundation tour, my first headline tour, so excited.
That is awesome. Well, Jordan, to wrap up, I'd like to see if you'd be willing to share something that God's been doing in your life recently that would help build our
Yeah,
viewers and our listeners' faith.
absolutely. You know what? Lately, God has just been impressing upon my heart to be hungry and thirsty for His Word. I've read my Bible throughout my life, but to really dig in on a daily basis and devote my mind to it. Growing up, I would say that I was more heart than head, and super passionate about things of God, and And in my early 20s, he, definitely showed me like, hey, it's important to know that the heart works best when the head is involved. And so now in my life, my oldest is going to be 14, and I need more help than ever. I need more help than ever to hear the voice of God and know when it's his and not mine. And so it's just been impressed upon me to just know his word intimately. And so that's been my goal lately, just to be a devoted follower and digging in every day.
Yeah, that's good. Well, my foundation is out available. It will be out everywhere on June the 14th. Is this on vinyl?
It's coming out on vinyl. We're going to have vinyls, I believe, by the end of June. And so we're actually running a promo right now. You can get a signed vinyl at my store. So head on over there and get
Nice.
yours.
Nice. Now, you released, I think, one song maybe last year, a Christmas song. Is there going to be more Christmas music coming out?
And we're on the fence with that one. With the new album coming out, I'm like, maybe not this year.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. We're going to have a song come out this year, but I'm not sure we're going to have an album. So
Right.
I've got a new song, and it's very it's kind of a throwback to the hymn days of, singing the hymns and doing that, and then has like a real modern worship chorus. Yeah, I think for me as a worship leader in my heart, it's just a nod to that time in my life, and as I continue forward in that, just really in that heart. So I'm excited there will be a song. I'm catching up with my own thoughts here.
I mean, I thought you were going to do like, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas or something.
No. We're gonna do an original.
There you
You're
go.
good.
All
Awesome.
right. Well, my foundation out June 14th. Thanks so much, Jordan.
Man, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.